onto a story which has literally blown the internet, but we discuss, is it really worth its price? Well, French fashion house Louis Vuitton is making waves with the latest statement piece, a luxury handbag modeled after India's iconic auto rickshaw, priced at a staggering 35 lakh rupees. The bold design, part of the brand's spring-summer 2026 menswear collection, wasn't shown on the runway but surfaced during a re-see session. It gained traction after fashion commentator Diet Paratha posted it on Instagram, setting off a flood of online reactions. Lloyd Mathias, angel investor and commentator, joins me this morning. Lloyd, good morning. 35 lakh rupees for not even a three-wheeler, but just a little bag that looks like one. Is it worth anybody's money?
Good morning, Kartik. I think interesting move. Primarily, I would say a lot of global luxury brands work off specific themes. And clearly in this case, or at least in the recent past, working off what you can call a local aesthetic or a vernacular aesthetic, if I could say, I think is something that some of these brands have picked up. Just a couple of weeks back, of course, we saw that Prada had kind of premiered the Kolhapuri chappal without any acknowledgement, which they subsequently did. And I think this is another of that example. I think using something intrinsically local and premiering it on a global stage. So at one level, I do believe that some of the outrage is a little unjustified. While I do expect that some of these global brands, when they pick up local themes and pick up something entirely local, which is, a common man uses for his daily life, I think they should nod in acknowledgement and certainly should credit the fact that the idea has been inspired. I think taking it to a global stage, in a sense, gives it a much larger audience. And in a way points to the fact that a lot of our local traditions and artisans haven't been given a global stage, which to my mind is a weakness of what we as a country have done. We've not been able to take some of these beautifully crafted, unique items and premiere them globally. The fact that some global brands are doing it, I think in a sense makes up or points to an adequate, a weakness on our front.
All right, but Lloyd, simple question to you. If you had 35 lakh rupees to spare, is this one of the items that you would go and shop?
Well, not really my cup of tea. But like I said, comparing the pricing of some of these luxury brands with the cost of manufacture, or taking from the inspiration, saying that an auto rickshaw on the road costs a fraction of that cost, I think is a slightly skewed way of looking at it. I think part of the aura of a global premier luxury brand is, if I could call it that, exorbitant pricing. The fact that you take something, chisel it, give it a kind of a certain look, and then price it disproportionately, I think in a sense adds to its so-called appeal, at least among a certain set. And I think we have to concede that. To expect cost-plus pricing, I think, is completely irrational.
All right, we are running out of time, but I can't let you go without asking one more question, and this is a larger industry question, Lloyd, and this comes from the fact that is there now time for India to go ahead and have those patents filed and if required, perhaps, own some copyright on this design and perhaps make money out of it? Because if you have Indian-made designs, Indian-made products being sold at exorbitant prices, should India get its share of the pie by just virtue of having designed it?
Oh, absolutely. I think there's a lot that we have to do in terms of tightening up IP. I know a lot of these products have GI, specifically the Kolhapuri chappal and such like. But even the GI implementation depends on the fact that whether we have local trade agreements with respective countries. So just GI does not give you a global proprietary use, or anyone who uses a product that, or recreates a product with the GI is obliged to pay you a fee. So I think it points to the fact that India has to tighten up a lot of its IP. I think a lot of Indian brands need to work with local artisans and take these designs and, I wouldn't say exploit them, but I think give them a global audience before international brands chance upon the opportunity. And really what this particular incident is doing is really pointing at the fact that it's a missed opportunity. And there will be loads of other local Indian products, a lot of our saris, a lot of our local ethnic wear that is going to be premiered if Indians don't start doing it themselves.
All right, Lloyd Mathias, thank you so much for your input on this story. Lovely having you here on News9.